So, do attractive guys get approached? Essentially, after running a bit of a poll, we asked a lot of guys from 20 to 30. Um, I'm sure a lot of them weren't actually attractive, uh, but the ones that reported that they were said it did happen, but it was pretty seldom. So, if you are wondering that if you've never been approached thinking that maybe it's because you're not attractive, I wouldn't necessarily jump to that conclusion. It's likely. Well, there's a bunch of things. I feel like a lot of guys are, myself included, at least in the past, oblivious to a girl actually hitting on you. I mean, for one thing, there's a lot of women who are just genuinely nice and are just that way, and it's easy to just assume that's the case most of the time. But so I have a buddy who's very attractive, and and I've seen it happen. He's like top tier, just like that unspoken riz, just dripping with drip. I don't know. I'm too old for that language, but it does happen. Um, Especially, I mean, it depends where you are. So I remember we were working at a college, and he ended up just. I mean, there were so many women around, our age there that ended up that we had to go talk to because that was our job. We were like promoting something, and yeah, he ended up just almost every girl that talked to him was kind of like, kind of coy, kind of shy, and it ended up attracting some people because after the daytime we ended up working in a club, and that was, I mean, that's like the absolute, a club inside of a college. Those are very unique circumstances for that to happen. But it did. A lot of people approaching him. He got a lot of numbers, and I'd never asked him, but I'm sure he got laid from those numbers not long after. But yeah, so it does happen. Now, I'm not saying I'm necessarily that attractive. It's happened to me like a couple times. And I think the main thing is like if it's like kind of a warm approach, because I mean, a cold approach where you're like, this is a completely new girl that you've never seen before coming up and hitting on you. That's even more rare. It's more like, okay, you're at a party and here's a friend of a friend, and she's just had a couple drinks and she's, loosened up a bit and willing to go talk to a guy she finds attractive. That happens. Again, that, depending if you're putting yourself in a position for that to happen, um, getting invited to parties, hopefully you are. But otherwise, I mean, I think the big thing is like, I know for me, there's been times where I had bulked up a bit, put on some weight, and I could tell just how different I'm treated from when I was lower body fat. So, if you're a bit overweight, or if you could do some time in the gym, you should have a noticeable difference about just how you're treated in general. Not necessarily that you'll get approached just because it's rare. But here's the thing, that like a lot of good looking guys, they don't use what they got. They just, they don't play the numbers. I've talked about this in another video, but I have a buddy named Steve, and he just isn't good looking. And he's like the 1% of the 1% that could actually, pull girls without looking decent, because appearance is almost always what is going to be the most valuable investment of your time to improve. And then like second is just like valuing experience and playing the numbers and cold approaching and using online dating, getting good pictures and just putting yourself up there, not like going on forums and complaining why no girls are interested in you. It's just like taking action. But yeah, appearance is huge. But he could somehow, I mean, he told me at one point, he was very much not quite like involuntary celibate, but he was like, didn't have a lot of experience, and he just got sick of it, and he just started talking to women. And a lot of women just aren't used to that, or they're just relying on their social circle, and it's limited, and they kind of find it cool that a guy actually has the balls to go talk to them, and they're like, yeah, well, why the hell, let's see where this goes. And he did that on scale because for him it was going to take a little bit more time to, like, it's going to take more women for one of them to work out, but he approached enough, and then he got good at it, and then that like built up his confidence even more. and then he was like unstoppable despite like not dressing very well, being pasty white skin and having quite bad receding hairline, but it can happen. So yeah, most good looking guys, you can surpass them. It's hard to believe. I mean, your appearance is going to help you so much more. I mean, if you can just get to a reasonable point where there's not any significant negatives about your appearance, don't have like greasy hair or whatever, have a good style. I know so many guys that like they try to, I mean, I don't have the best style, but it's just like it's sleek, it fits right for the most part, although my weight fluctuates. But overdressing is I see it so often. Guys just assume having these like loafers and like dress pants that just like when you shouldn't be wearing dress pants, or there's a fine line between like trying too hard, and it should look effortless for the most part. Even if you've got like a fair bit of drip or accessories and shit like that on, you try to make it look effortless, like you just naturally look that good, because it can, especially when you choose clothes that fit, and that's something a lot of guys don't do. But otherwise, there's I haven't tried it yet, but there's an app or a website called Photo Feeler, and I think you can like get your photos rated or something like that. I'm just looking at an article I wrote for this topic. If you are watching this through YouTube, I kind of expand on this. But yeah, attractive guys do get approached, but it doesn't happen that often. And that's about it. Peace.